Hi, I'm Daphney, and I own a company called Fern Connections. Today, I want to get into some 2025 trends, dating trends, of course, right? So let's just jump into my first trend. It's to drink less on first dates, or don't drink at all on first dates, right? Let somebody know who you are. Like, be clear-headed. Just go in and just be yourself, be in the moment. And if you need to drink something, there's this thing. It's called H2O. Water. Yes, you can always drink water, but you can always have a mocktail or have a non-alcoholic beverage. There's all kinds of them, right? And most restaurants and places will make you a mocktail, right? That tastes, pretty much as good as the real thing and probably costs just as much too. But my thing is this. We don't have to be sober unless we're going through, sobriety, and we're on a road to recovery. And, I'm here for all of that, right? But I do think that, especially on first dates, let's not drink. Let's not drink alcohol. Let me just be very clear. Let's just go in and just have a good time, be ourselves, and not worry about okay, did I have 1 drink, 2 drinks, 3 drinks, or should I have, right? Because sometimes you don't know how many you should have, and sometimes people have too many. So my thing is this: let's drink less, right? Let's drink less alcohol, especially on first dates and maybe even a second date, honey. I don't think you really have to have that. I mean, I'm not a big drinker, so it's probably easy for me to say something like this, but I also like when I'm not drinking and I'm meeting people. And if you think about it, a lot of times, we're meeting people, we're not drinking. We're not drinking alcohol, right? So why do we have to drink alcohol on dates? We don't have to, right? Especially on first dates, which takes me to my next trend for 2025, right? Let's date when we're feeling really good, like when we're in a really good head and heart space, when we are happy. And I know y'all are probably thinking this is very simple. Why are you telling us that? Most people aren't going on a date when they're feeling bad, but people do go on dates when they're overwhelmed. People do go on dates when they're tired. People do go on dates when, they're frustrated sometimes and they've had a bad day and they're just thinking, okay, it's just a first date, it'll be okay, right? But sometimes that shows in your body language. It shows in your face, right? Unless you got a good poker face. I don't have that, so it probably would show in my face. But it sometimes shows in how you approach people, right? How you respond to people. So I say that if you're not having a great day, I'm not saying you have to be happy-go-lucky, da-da-da-da-da. What I'm saying is that your heart has to be right and your head has to be right, and you want to be in a good, happy, healthy space when you're going on dates, especially first dates. That whole thing about the first impression, right? You want to make a first good impression. So be, aware, of how you're feeling and, what's going on, And if you need to cancel, if you need to reschedule, honey, just do it. If people don't understand that stuff, then that's on them. I'm not saying you need to wait 10 minutes before the date and reschedule. I'm saying that if you wake up in the morning and you're like, you know what, I'm just not doing good today, then I would say reschedule for a time when you feel really good, right? When you're in a good, happy place, in a good, happy space. And like I said, your heart is good and your head is good, right? So let's move on to the next thing. Let's talk about something that y'all know. I believe that you should date more than one person, right? At a time. I'm not saying have sex with these people. I'm saying date people. Go on dates with people more than one person at a time. I truly believe in that. But I also think for 2025, if you're really serious about dating, right? Finding your person, then, maybe 2 or 3 people caps, right? Tops. Don't try to go on, date 5 or 6 people at a time. Now, if you're just having fun and you just want to date, that's cool. But if you're really looking for your person, I would suggest that you date, 2 people at a time, maybe 3 at the most, if you can do that, because some people can't. And let me just back that up for a minute and say this. Some people think, I only want to date one person at a time. I can't really focus like that. Honey, you can multitask it with a lot of stuff, right? So I'm sure you can multitask with your dating life. It's okay. And I'm telling y'all this for a reason. Because what happens when you date more than one person, you have somebody to compare with, right? Okay, and then as you're dating them, getting to know them, you can compare. You can say, like, I like this person, because of this. I like this person because of this. This person and I really align on this, right? Now, if you only got one person, who are you comparing them to? And, how do you know that you're not like letting go of some of these, what I call burnt orange, red, orange, honey, flags, right? That should be just red, but you want to call them something else, right? So that you can kind of like give them some grace and some leniency. But let me just tell you, if you date more than one person, and if you can't do, 3, because I think that's the most you should be doing, then do 2, so that you have somebody to compare, you have something to compare with when you're dating these folks, to make sure that, these people are really aligning, with the qualities and the lifestyle and, who you are and what you're looking for in a long-term person, right? So, having said that, let's just get into the next thing. And the next thing is this: dating with intention. In 2025, we need to date with intention. If you're looking for your long-term person, honey, you can't be out there doing whatever. So you need to have a plan, and you need to be like thinking about, how can I, navigate this dating landscape in a very like productive way, right? Let me be thoughtful. Y'all know I always talk about being kind and thoughtful, but let me be authentic. Let me be transparent. Let me ask serious questions up front. And y'all know that the only question I say y'all shouldn't be dipping into is people's money, because that's a whole nother topic. But you can ask them about their politics. You can ask them about their religion, honey. You can ask them about children if you want to. And they may say, like, this is a little too much for a first date or second date. But when you're a little bit older, and you're or even if you're not a little bit older, but you're dating with intention, right? You want to be able to find your person, and you have to be able to talk about serious things sooner than later. So I would say, be authentic, be genuine. And let me just give y'all a little tip, right? It's kind of like when you're going to work and you're like going for an interview, right? They're asking you questions, you're asking them questions, and you're like, why did they ask me that? That seems so odd. Well, I'm gonna tell you that even though it may seem odd, it may seem, why is this person like asking me these questions so quickly? It's because people want to date intentionally. They don't want to keep wasting their time. They're looking for a long-term partner, a long-term person. They're looking for commitment, and that's why they're doing this. So don't be like taken aback by, oh, they asked me if I want to have children. Oh, they said they want to have children. Why are we talking about this right now? It's because it's important to this person. And if it's important to them, I say, ask your questions up front. And I also say, don't be worried if someone gets upset about it, because you're trying to find your person. And this is where, like I said before, dating multiple people at a time is very important, because if someone has like a problem with some of the questions you ask, and you probably, know right away, this is not going to work for me. So why have to start completely over? And that's why dating multiple people at a time is a good thing. So let me get into my last thing for 2025. Have a plan. I said it a little bit before. Have some type of method, some type of methodology, honey. I don't care if you're like looking at astrology and saying, this Capricorn works well with this Scorpio, and I'm not really like looking at astrology to say that, but what I'm saying is that have a game plan, have some method to your madness, a methodology that says, maybe it's love languages. We use love languages, as a company all the time, right? So find a way to figure out, how do these people work for you, right? Don't just be going out with people like, just for no good reason. Like, come up with a way to say, okay, how can I measure? Like, how do I know that this person is going to be, someone I can be with long term? At least start with that until you really get to know them, and start like, drilling in and drilling down on your questions about like, who they are, who you are, and what you want, and whether or not this person, meets that, for you, right? So come up with some type of method, some type of plan, some type of methodology. We actually do that as a company. We help our clients and we come up with these, you can call them game plans, honey. We call them, dating plans, right? So if you need help, and I'm just going to say that I said that that was my last thing, but this is really my last thing, right? For 2025 and all the years after that. If you need help and you're not sure where to start and how to start and what to do, then please, hit us up and we will help you come up with a plan, a dating plan that works just for you, so that you can be successful in your dating.